is up, everybody? Your boy Rick here, always joined by Brian, here at From the Tips. Episode, what is this? Episode 20?
Episode 22, I believe.
Episode
if I'm
22.
not mistaken.
We are
I could be wrong.
killing the game right now. Speaking of killing the game, how did I do imitating your intro?
You did fabulous, buddy. Yeah, so we decided to shake things up here. Gonna have Rick do the intro because we're 20 some weeks into this. He's got the chops for it, people. We all know this.
22.
This is 22. This is 22. Yeah, so he's got the chops for it. So I was like, you want to know what? Rick's doing the intro today, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
mostly because I didn't have to do anything, and that's
fair.
That's the dream for me. Really.
I tried to do my best to make it sound like it was still you. I don't know how well I did.
We'll listen to the tape and see how similar it sounds.
Hopefully I fooled at least one or two people and they thought it was actually you, because that would be really funny.
Well, personally, I think it was better than whatever I do. So
I don't know about that.
Hey,
you're pretty seasoned in the podcast intro game, doing two podcasts a week times 20, 25 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
about 100 intros right there for you.
That is about 100 intros.
Just under it.
Just under. But also, what I loved about that is just like how stressed you were because I told you about 5 seconds before we started this.
That was tough for a person
ambush tactics. Ambush tactics, my friend.
Tough for a person of my abilities.
Well, hey man, we've been at this for almost a half a year now.
Which is insane to me because we still have like 80 followers.
I know. Yeah, what's up with that, folks? Can we get the Instagram popping here? Like,
you guys just not like us. Do you need more content?
Do you want?
I'm gonna try to bring back the chipping hour, but I don't know. I think that was kind of falling off to the wayside. So if you have video content you want us to produce, let us know. We do have a video that will hopefully be coming out ASAP Rocky. That is our round from this weekend. We started the RBGA. For those that don't know, that is the Really Bad Golfers Association. We started it last year. This is the second season.
Season 2.
And we started it this past weekend, which we will get into later in the show. But hopefully we'll have that video coming out. If you have any other video content ideas, send them our way, and we will do our darndest to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the chipping hour can absolutely make a return. That its departure could be pretty much blamed on me for getting caught up in other things because it is the summertime and I get distracted by being outside.
I was also caught up in other things, which is why I'm saying we might need other content. If you have any ideas, let us know, because I'm not a good idea person. I have good ones every once in a while, but most of the time they don't plan out.
Look, if you want us to get weird, we can get weird. Like, you need me to stand on the roof, do some sort of trick shot that involves an avocado and Rick's mouth. We could do that.
What is? Hold on. You may have done something here.
Hold on now. Hold on.
Do I get to eat avocado toast live on Instagram?
Okay, so we're gonna put. So it's gonna be a piece of toast. We're gonna cut a hole out of where Rick's mouth is. He's gonna be laying down in the lawn, and we're just gonna have a plethora of avocados. I'm gonna see if I can't pop one on the toast.
1, it sounds really expensive. 2,
it does. I forget how expensive avocados are.
2, someone's gonna have to remind me the way to emergency call 911 on the phone, because I will be choking on an avocado pit at some point during that.
I don't even know what possessed me to say those words in that specific order to formulate that sentence.
Yeah, I don't know what possessed you on that one.
I mean, I'm going off not a whole lot of sleep. If any of you know how an air conditioner functions,
any HVAC,
yeah, any HVAC guys, or just people that know how the window AC units work. Can you hear that, by the way? Because it's on right now.
In there? Yeah, I hear it.
Do you need me to turn that off?
No, you're good.
All right, well, good.
Maybe it's my computer. I don't know. My computer sounds like an airplane sometimes. So.
Well, also let us know if you hear my AC and you find it annoying. Let me know that. I'll turn it off to record.
But we will fix it for the next.
Yeah, exactly. We will fix it for the future because I'm not turning it off now. Anyways, it's obviously functioning. It's
Yeah.
just not blowing cold air, and I can't sleep in a hot bedroom.
Do you need coolant in that? Is that like a car?
I don't think so, because really, it just do I need coolant?
I don't really know how
I
those
feel
things
like this
work.
could be a Google search, but I want to be more fun than that, and I kind of want to bring our listeners into this. If anybody would like to give me air conditioner knowledge and wants to challenge me to fix it on Instagram Live, I will do so.
That would be nice. That would be a good video.
I'm just gonna beat it with a golf club. See if
You hit it with my 7-iron.
Oh goodness gracious!
We'll probably go to crap because that's what happens when I hit my 7-iron.
Guarantee it. Well, the fun fact is we are in fact a golf podcast speaking about golf clubs. But first, we have updates for you people, as there are days of the week that must be talked about. Rick, take it away, kid.
We are still currently going through the days of the week. Time has not stopped. Therefore, today, the day you're listening to this, is June 8th. Okay, last week would have been June 1st. Somehow we're already in June. I don't understand that one. But today, June 8th, is National Best Friends Day. So happy day, Brian. Happy Best Friends Day, bud.
Happy day to you, buddy. I didn't know
Happy
that.
day.
Happy day day.
Happy day. I think that's like a song or something. I don't know. June 9th.
Sounds good.
It's we got something there.
Yeah, we got something.
June 9th is National Donald Duck Day, which I'm pretty excited about because he's my favorite, one of my favorite Disney characters. Aside from Baymax, have you seen Big Hero 6? Because I relate to Baymax on so many levels.
Have I seen Big Hero 6? My friend, I'm not huge into Disney, but I would argue that is making a strong run at Mulan for my favorite Disney movie.
It's amazing. And
it's
Baymax
incredible.
is the greatest Disney character ever created.
Fantastic Disney character.
No, he's hilarious.
You don't have to tell me otherwise. I am in complete agreement with you. No argument here.
June 10th, we have National Egg Roll Day.
Ooh,
which is a pretty good one. It's also National Iced Tea Day, but I don't drink iced tea, so we don't care about that one.
I'll take the iced tea side. You can have the egg roll. We'll tag team this.
We have National Corn on the Cob Day, June 11th.
Oh, is it sweet corn season yet?
Oh, I hope so.
God, I hope so.
I love corn on the cob.
Oh.
June 12th, we have National Jerky Day and National Peanut Butter Cookie Day.
Hails yeah.
So that's a pretty good day. And then, I mean, no, that's it. That's it, really. Nothing good on June 13th. I don't know how far in advance that is. Was that almost a week? Yeah, we don't need to go that far.
You know what brings me joy?
What?
The fact that peanut butter cookies have a day. I think that really just makes my heart happy. Just knowing
underrated.
I do think they're underrated. Everybody's like, oh, macadamia, which by the way, no. Chocolate chip, kind of overrated if you really think about it. But like no one's like, oh, hey, the peanut butter cookie, let's talk about that. And I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough.
I like the peanut butter cookies with the chocolate, the Hershey Reese's Bits on top.
Yes.
Those are delicious.
Those are probably, I would say, my favorite form of peanut butter cookie, if I had to be honest.
That's fair.
Because they are, in fact, incredibly delicious. I usually don't have those until around Christmas time, though, when my grandmother makes them.
Big cookie season.
Big cookie season. In college, my grandmother would send me and Rick a thing of cookies. Actually, would send 2 of them, knowing we probably would need that.
Those were good times. I got my own box at some point.
Exactly.
Which was
and
nice.
And then also she would send me specifically a box of chips. I don't know if she was calling me out there, but I housed it. You witnessed it. It's,
Brian eating a bag of chips. We need to do that on the Instagram page.
I don't know if anybody wants to see that.
Bag of chips. For those that haven't seen it before, I'm going to paint you a little word picture here real quick. So
why did I say this out loud?
If you've ever done a claw machine, just picture one of those, but instead of not grabbing anything like claw machines do, imagine it grabs every single toy in the claw machine. That's Brian's hand to the chips in the bag, and then he just lifts it up. You actually hear the mechanical sound as he lifts his hand up out of the bag, and then he holds it over his head and opens his mouth as wide as possible and just shoves his hand into his mouth where to the point where his knuckles are like in his mouth. And then he'll just pull his hand out. About 4 chips will fall on the ground, and then he will eat the rest of them.
I am okay with the cleanup duty after the act. Okay. Yes. Some chips do not make it into my mouth. However, I know where they go. I have angled my flab enough to catch them. You see? So there's a
Watching
method.
Brian eat chips is second only to watching him eat fries.
Oh man. Oh, why did I bring that up? I should have seen this coming from miles away. Kind of like the 6 inches of rough thing from the Fuck Mary Kill episode. I should have seen that coming from miles away.
Definitely.
I'm pretty oblivious now that I'm really starting to think about
Especially how long we've been friends. You would think you
Right.
would know these things are coming, and
Yeah.
you seem to forget about
I
them.
just continuously forget. And
You know what we're not going to forget about? The fact that Jon Rahm should have won this weekend.
yes. So let's get into that. We were trying to bring you as much joy as possible before we get into this horrendous topic, and I hope it worked. So we're going to get into it. So we did have golf this last week, obviously, because it is a super season. We had the Memorial Tournament presented by Nationwide at Muirfield. Did go into a playoff, which was cool. Patrick Cantlay, eventually the winner, went into a playoff with Colin Morikawa. Did you have Colin to win? I forget.
I don't remember. I
remember having Shane Lowry to win, and he went T6, and I'm counting that as.
I remember
okay
at one point I said that I thought Jon Rahm had a chance to repeat, but I don't remember who my actual pick was. It might have been Scotty. I think it was Scotty. So I wasn't far off because he was 3.
No,
so
you were definitely not far off.
Yeah, he was in first for a while there. So
agreed. But we have to. It sucks, and we'll get into why it sucks for Patrick Cantlay. But first, we gotta get into why it sucked for Jon Rahm. So Jon Rahm comes into Saturday. I forget exactly how large his lead was, but he had a 6-stroke lead going into Saturday or coming out of Saturday.
Oh, coming out of Saturday. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know what his lead was coming into Saturday, but he had just shot a 69 and a 65. Which if we do quick math, which I'm not very good at.
He was just on this weekend.
That put him at like 9 under. Am I doing the math right? That's 4. Was it a par 71 or a par 72?
I think he was like 12 under going into
something ridiculous. We're not good at head math here. We're not a math.
I'm pretty sure he shot like a 5 or 6 under or something like that on Saturday.
Yes, on Saturday was his best score of the entire week, shooting a 64 to best his best score from the day before. And that's when things kind of hit the fan. So as the protocol goes, Jon Rahm is unvaccinated, so he still has to do the morning testing for every day that they're out there. So his test midway through his round comes back positive for COVID-19. And when a test does come back positive, they do a second check test to make sure it wasn't a false positive. It turns out it wasn't. Both tests came back positive. And he was told after he was leaving the 18th green, shooting his best score of the weekend, looking incredible, shooting the 64. And obviously absolutely crushed when the PGA Tour officials told him. Everybody was crushed. It was all over social media once word got out. Once Dottie said it on the broadcast, and unfortunately, he was forced to withdraw, as that is protocol for the PGA Tour and also the national protocol. And let's not even beat around the bush here. It sucks. It sucks.
It's stupid.
It sucks eggs. I'm gonna go that far. It sucks eggs. Because there was no shot anyone's catching up to him if he even plays half of the way he did Friday and Saturday. No shot. Technically speaking, his 18 under after Saturday still wins because Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa
shot like +5 and still won.
Won, which he wasn't going to do in the first place, but still.
I don't know how, I mean, obviously we can kind of hear how you feel about this situation, but I don't know about you. I have never been more frustrated from a weekend of golf than I was this weekend for multiple reasons. Um, on a lighter note, before we get to my frustration, I think it's hilarious that Jon Rahm was decided that he wanted to try to beat science. Did you hear about that? About why
No,
he
but
was in
this
this
is
situation? So he was close contact with someone earlier in the week.
right.
And in order to try to prevent himself from getting it and testing positive and everything, he went to get the vaccine earlier this week. So after he was in close contact,
Oh
he
my.
went to get the vaccine. A little bit too late there, John.
Oh boy.
Kind of on you on that one, but
That's
nice little laugh for the situation that we're in. I'm extremely frustrated with the
oh
PGA Tour though
god.
for multiple reasons. One,
Ugh.
they knew, I think they said on like hole 15 was when they knew that he was positive and they let him finish his round. If you're that serious about it, that you're making this man withdraw from the tournament, you tell him on 15, hey, you got to get out of here now. Next, he drove back on a cart, and I don't think he was wearing a mask. I don't remember specifically, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing a mask.
The individuals around him were, he was not. I don't think he had one with him at the time.
Stupid. Okay.
Yes, agreed.
Doesn't make any sense to me. And then I'm all flustered. I don't even know where I was going. He has a 6-stroke lead. And even like I said, even if he shoots +5, he's not going to lose this. He's going to win this. So I just don't understand how you can't give him an early tee time by himself. Like it's obviously his fault because he was in close contact with someone. We don't know if it was on purpose or by accident, whatever, but it's still his fault. He didn't have the vaccine, all that good stuff. But there's no reason you can't give the man an early tee time. And then if he does win, he just doesn't get the satisfaction of walking up 18 and winning in that fashion. He just has to come back out 4 hours later after the last people finish their round. I think that's punishment enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need to tell this man, hey, you had one of the greatest weekends of your season so far. You made a mistake that came back in a bad way. You have to leave now.
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing so well, no one's going to catch you and you're going to win the tournament. I don't understand why you can't just let the man finish. I get they got to follow protocols and everything like that. And I don't understand any of that. And I'm never going to understand any of that because I don't care enough to understand that. I'm a normal golf fan and I wanted to see Jon Rahm get his first win as a dad. And I think a lot of people did too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about it, but if I'm Cantlay or Morikawa, I'm fighting to not win this tournament and come in second because I don't want, like, in me personally, if I win this tournament and I'm Patrick Cantlay, if I win this tournament, I'm not even counting it as a win for myself because I didn't win that tournament. There's
Right.
even like he didn't win. That's just plain and simple. He could have shot
Yeah.
could have shot 5 under, could have shot 6 under. He still didn't win that
Still
tournament.
wouldn't win. Right.
And me personally, I wouldn't count that as a win. And I honestly, I don't know if he, I mean, he's going to obviously, like, he's excited about a win and everything like that. But I just don't understand how you can't let that get in your head. Like, I won this, but I shouldn't have won this.
Patrick did have a statement post round about that. He basically said, like, look, in all honesty, this probably shouldn't be my trophy. I am accepting it because I ended up being the winner, but the situation that happened with John is incredibly unfortunate, and he should have won this trophy. So major props to Patrick Cantlay for that.
Huge props.
I mean, we like Patrick Cantlay on this
Yeah,
podcast.
I mean,
I
he's
think we
not a
said it
bad guy.
before.
He's not.
No, he's obviously a good dude because he recognizes what happened around him. He's not blind to the situation going on around him at all, which is really great to see from an athlete, first and foremost, because some athletes are just absolute jackasses when it comes to stuff like that. So respect to Patrick Cantlay for that. Moving into my feelings on the Jon Rahm scenario, I am disappointed. And I kind of turned my frustration of the situation into thinking of solutions on how it should have been handled. First and foremost, I agree with you. Once they find out, this is something you got to be serious about. Don't let him continue to play
Yeah.
knowing the information you know.
You can't pretend post round that there's a sense
No,
of urgency in the situation
not
when
at
you
all.
knew 3 holes takes at least 20 minutes. You can't tell me
Exactly.
that there's a sense of urgency in that situation, because there's not.
Yeah, and when it really comes down to it, is they obviously are portraying that they're taking it seriously with making him withdraw. If you're going to take it that seriously, instead of doing that, instead of punishing somebody for catching a virus that is literally run rampant throughout the entire world, borderline uncontrolled for a long period of time. If you're really going to punish somebody for something unfortunate like that happening, no one's getting COVID-19 on purpose. Let's just get that out of the way first.
Yeah, no
Okay,
one's like, oh,
no one's doing that.
people were doing that at the beginning of COVID, but they're
Yeah, well,
not anymore.
people were stupid, about it back then. But
People are still stupid, but they just
people are still stupid. But that is what it is. You shouldn't punish somebody for that. I agree with you about the early morning tee time with nobody around. You do it for rain delays and inclement weather, and when it gets too dark for people to finish their round. What you could have done is stopped him on 15, explain the situation, and then after explaining to him, be like, we are, however, going to let you finish the tournament, but we're going to be doing it in a different way. If you would come with us, we'll take you into the clubhouse, explain to you how we're going to move forward with this. And early in the morning, you let him start on 16, wrap up his third round, then play his fourth. You do it for weather delays. You do it for darkness delays. You can't do it for a guy who is playing some of the best golf he's played all year, although he's been playing really good golf this year,
yeah.
and is literally destined to win this tournament, not only for him, but for his family. Obviously, there's money involved and stuff like that. $1.6 million. Let's just, get the money out there for that.
Yeah.
You stripped him of all of that because of something that's incredibly unfortunate to happen to him.
Yeah.
I feel so much for Jon Rahm in that poor scenario, because no one's getting COVID-19 on purpose, especially not somebody who plays a professional sport, knowing that's going to
Yeah.
take them away from their job for at
Yeah.
least 2 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
it just could have been handled in such a better way by the tour.
Yeah.
I think what frustrates me the most is the fact that they did let him play out the rest of the third round. Like, I get that he's on 15, he's only 3 holes away, whatever. But like, scratch that. Actually, I don't get it. If you're going to be serious about trying to prevent the spread of COVID-19, which we should all be, take him off the course as soon as you find out that information. As soon as that second check went past,
Yeah.
and he was
Go get
positive
him.
both times, go get him.
I don't care if he's in the middle of a swing. Interrupt it. Take him off the course.
You have to take this seriously. It's a global pandemic. Why are you
Yeah.
waiting for him to finish a round with thousands of people around him?
Yeah, they got patrons back too. That's the other thing.
Exactly. You're not even, it's not even
play-
just the danger of the golfers. It's the danger of the fans as well.
Yeah.
Like,
And
come
I mean,
on.
well, to play a little bit devil's advocate here, I kind of get it from the tour's perspective. The timing, I still don't understand. I'm going to be clear about that. I don't understand the timing at all. But what I do understand is they don't want to play favorites, as in the whole situation with Nick Watney when he originally got it. All these other guys that have gotten it, they've been told they have to withdraw from the tournament. Difference was those were before the tournaments happened because of all the testing and everything like that. This was mid-tournament. This was kind of I think there was one other scenario like this a few weeks ago where someone got it and they had to withdraw after like a Friday or something like that, but they weren't doing anything significant, so it didn't really make any headway. So in that sense, I get it, but at the same time, to counter that, JT should have been suspended multiple weeks for what happened earlier in the season with him, but because he's one of the top golfers in the world, he wasn't. So it's just extremely inconsistent from the PGA Tour, and that's the issue that I have with it, is the inconsistency. If everything is going exactly the same in every situation, it's fine. But the fact that you have such inconsistencies in these situations, like imagine if this was a few weeks ago when Phil Mickelson won the PGA. If he tested positive on 15 on Sunday and they let him wait until he finished 18, all those people have COVID now. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like how you see a situation like that 2 or 3 weeks ago, however long ago it was, and then still have this, knowing that people are still following them because he's in the final grouping on Saturday. Like he's not,
and he's up by a lot.
yeah. So like people are following him. People are gonna be right behind him the whole time. I don't understand how you see what happened with Phil Mickelson at the PGA and then somehow think this is any different.
Mm-hmm. And also imagine instead of Saturday, this was Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's the winning putt on 18.
Yeah. What do you do?
What are you going to tell people? What are you going to scream it to everybody? Be like, don't get near him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and you're right. It's inconsistent from the tour. There's what seems to be a decent amount of favoritism going on here when it comes to how specific golfers are handled.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, the tour needs to not only release a statement, but also they need to rework their protocols.
100%.
Either have a vaccination requirement to play or rework the protocol so things like this don't happen. Your protocol should not be interrupting the golf that's going on for these players. This is their livelihood. This is their life. I know Jon Rahm is probably not hurting for money, but still.
No, definitely not hurting for money.
But what if it is the guy that's hurting for money, you know?
Yeah.
What if this was Joel Damon?
Yeah, one of the lower guys that never been in this situation. And I will say this, it's extremely fortunate for the PGA Tour that they figured this out on Saturday, because if this was on Sunday that they figured this out, they would have been running around like chickens with their head cut off. If they found out on 15 on Sunday with a guy walking up 8 to 8, like
he's 3 holes away from winning.
Yeah, like it would have been an absolute shit show if they found that out on Sunday. So I think they're probably breathing a sigh of relief that this was on Saturday, because that makes their decision 1,000 times easier.
Yeah,
even though it's still the wrong decision.
Yeah, and Jon Rahm did release a statement on Twitter the evening of. He says, thoughts after today's round. He says, I'm very disappointed in having to withdraw from the Memorial Tournament. This is one of those things that happens in life, one of those moments where how we respond to a setback defines us as people. I'm very thankful that my family and I are all okay. I will take all the necessary precautions to be safe and healthy, and I look forward to returning to the golf course as soon as possible. Thank you to all of the fans for their support, and I'm looking forward to watching the showdown tomorrow afternoon with you all. It was actually a pretty good showdown between Morikawa and Cantlay.
It was,
but it's and let's get into that. This also sucks for Cantlay and Morikawa.
Oh yeah.
No matter who,
you do not want to be the guy.
No, you don't at all. Absolutely not, because when you think about it, it has to be on their mind the fact that if nothing happened, they'd have no shot. They'd be playing for second.
Yeah.
They've got to know that. Everybody knows that. And they both shot 1 under and went into a playoff hole. They played the 18th again, and Patrick Cantlay ended up winning with a par on the hole as Collin Morikawa bogeyed. And it's one of those things that it sucks for Patrick Cantlay because he did win. And you put this question on our itinerary for this evening. Does this count as a win for Patrick Cantlay? Technically on paper, obviously it does. But we mean in how he thinks about it.
An asterisk next to it.
Exactly. Does there need to be an asterisk? Kind of like Barry Bonds' home run record. The steroids.
Winning in the bubble last year in the playoffs.
Winning in the bubble, yes.
Does there need to be an asterisk next to it? And I think the answer to that is yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're not going to, because in 20 years when we're talking about this, no one's going to really mention that fact. They're just going to mention the fact that Cantlay won.
Exactly.
Same as they're not going to mention that. I don't even remember who won the playoffs last year, but whoever won in the bubble.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
The Lightning, yeah. Same as they're not going to mention that. They're just going to say that the Lightning won the cup that year. Like in 20 years, it's not going to matter. But I think at least for the rest of the season, we need to have a little bit of an asterisk next to it. And it makes it a little bit easier in the sense that we don't have to worry about this affecting like the Ryder Cup or like the Olympics or something for the U.S. because Jon Rahm's not an American. So it makes it a little bit easier for the U.S. in that sense, thankfully. If this was like, say, I don't even know, like somebody fighting for their spot in the Ryder Cup or anything like that. Like if it was X or something like that, where he hasn't really been playing that great as of late, and he really needs a win coming up, and this could really affect his chances to make the Ryder Cup, make the Olympic team. Like then we have a whole different situation.
Agreed.
I think things really kind of fell into place the right way for certain groups of people, and Jon Rahm just wasn't one of those people that it fell.
Exactly. Yes. And that stinks for Patrick Cantlay. It does, because like you won. You did. You got a W. You got the FedEx points. You're now top 10 in the FedEx rankings.
3. He moved up to 3,
is that
right?
that's the World Golf rankings. He's number 10. But like
in the World Golf rankings?
it says tour top 10, so I think it's a different ranking system, but
FedEx
he's number 10.
He is. Oh no, he's 1 now. Yeah, he passed Bryson.
See, and that's what stinks, is now he's number 1 in the FedEx Cup rankings, but everybody's going to be like, well, he doesn't deserve it, and that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah, and if Jon Rahm had won, he'd be 1 point behind Bryson in second place. So like,
exactly.
It does. It really sucks for Jon Rahm, because Jon Rahm is now still stuck in, what is he, 18? Got no points.
Scroll down. Scroll.
Really, really tough, because
yes, he's stuck at
going
18th.
into the FedEx Cup playoffs in the top 10 is huge, and this might have really affected his chances to be able to do that with having to withdraw from this tournament.
Yeah, agreed. And it's one of those things where all around for Jon Rahm, Patrick Cantlay, and Colin Morikawa, to be honest, because he almost had a shot, it sucks.
Yeah.
And for obviously different reasons, but
my boy Scotty did exactly what he should have done.
And
shot
stayed
2 under,
and stayed
got
under.
2 under, played a good round of golf, and then just got third.
Exactly.
Walked away with the money. We'll get a win another week.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, man, it's just one of those things where you look at how it was handled by the tour, and it's just incredibly unfortunate that this happened at all, because it really shouldn't. The tour should have better protocols than this, and you wonder why golf isn't considered one of the big 4, and that's because the big 4 handled their protocols better than this.
Yes.
And obviously for other reasons, whatever, people don't like watching golf, blah, 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 whatever. But this is one of the main reasons, is how the tour handles situations like this. And we can continue into specifically how the tour handles or doesn't handle, which they should not. I'm going to clear that up now. Situations such as the Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka feud, battle, spat. First of all, the tour should keep their hands off this, because this is gold.
100%.
But Bryson DeChambeau, quote, thinks the tour needs to handle the Brooks Koepka comments and heckling. For a little bit of backstory on this, Bryson DeChambeau has been, since he and Brooks have gotten into their little spat, whatever you want to call it. By the way, we touch on that a lot in the last 2 episodes, so if you need reference, go back. Ever since that began, people have been following Bryson, as patrons are now allowed on PGA Tour events, and yelling, "Attaway Brooksy, good shot Brooksy," basically calling him Brooks, which obviously he is not, and he hates it. So much so that one fan, the first time it happened, turned to the fans and said, "Whoever's calling me Brooksy needs to stop." And then it continues because, duh. And
because you feed into it, so it will continue.
Then Brooks Koepka releases a video. I'm not quite sure what it was for. Video. Was it literally just a Michelob Ultra ad?
So here's what it was for those that didn't see it. Basically, everyone was calling him Brooksy. This was on Thursday and Friday. This was happening. Friday, Brooks Koepka posts a video on his Instagram page. If you want to go watch it. It's hilarious. He starts it off. He says, "Hey guys, it's Brooksy." Great start. Love it.
Fantastic start.
He goes, "I am not playing in the tournament this week, obviously, but I love to see all the support. It really means a lot to me that you guys are supporting me, even though I'm not playing this week, and I love that. I heard there was some issues with people getting thrown out of the tournament. So what I've done is I've partnered with Michelob Ultra. They're giving away 50 free cases of beer to the first 50 people that message me saying that they got thrown out of the tournament because Bryson was legitimately telling security to throw people out of this tournament for calling him Brooksy.
Yep.
And Brooks
And
and
they
Michelob
did.
Ultra, as we've been saying the past few weeks with Barstool Sports, did not miss and
Never
capitalized
miss.
on this pretty much the best way they possibly could. And yeah, it's only continued. Bryson is my least favorite human being on the planet, and Brooks is my favorite person on the planet. And here's why. Bryson on Friday
Here's why.
was asked about it. And do you hear what he said on like Thursday, Friday when they were asking him about it?
No, other than
It was
is that when he said the tour needs to step in, or was that on
no, that
Sunday?
was what he said this weekend. On
Right.
Thursday and Friday, when all this stuff was starting this week, he said basically what he was saying about living rent free. He was like, I don't care. Like, these people are still out here supporting me. Like, whatever they want to do, they want to do. It's flattering. And I appreciate that they're following me and like watching me and stuff like that. Like, literally, he was like, this is fine. Like, I don't mind this at all. Like, I'm having a great time. I'm super flattered that these people are like paying so much attention to me right now. I'm still living rent free in Brooks Koepka's head. And then literally like a day or two later, he's like, you need to get out of here for calling me Brooksy. Come on. Like, what do you want to do? If you want to feed into it, feed into it. If you want to be the guy that's like, I don't like you for coming up with that nickname and calling me that while we're out on tour, be that guy. Turn to security, be like, yo, get that guy out of here. Be the bad guy. Don't be the good guy and
then be the
don't
bad
play
guy.
good cop, bad cop with yourself. Okay.
No.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Dude,
Play good cop, play bad cop, whichever one you want to do. Don't play both. And that's exactly what he keeps trying to do. And it's the most frustrating thing ever because you just don't know what he's going to say next. And I know people love it. And I know people love to see like the back and forth between them. But to me, it's just so frustrating that Bryson will not pick who he wants to be. Brooks has clearly become the guy who's just going to continue to make fun of him. And people on the internet are like, this is a classic case of bullying. Like, Brooks is like, okay, maybe he is. But guess what? Bryson is big. He's bigger than Brooks. If he really wants to finish this, all he has to do is give him one straight to the nose. And he won't do that because he doesn't want people to hate him. Let people hate you.
Yeah.
It's any publicity is good publicity. If
It's
you
great
punch
content
in the face and you get 6 weeks suspended from the tour, so be it. People are talking about you for the next 6 weeks.
You're probably going to make more money
doing
doing that than
and
golfing for 6 weeks.
You made a decision and you went with it. You didn't make a decision and then back up on it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Everybody buckle up because it's Brian rant time.
Oh, I love Brian rant time.
First, I know after Bryson DeChambeau won the Arnold Palmer Invitational in very demanding fashion with his absolute monster drives, I was like, choo-choo all aboard the Bryson train. For those of you that boarded that train, I want to let you know right now the train is literally about to fall off a cliff. Get off as soon as humanly possible because the Bryson thing, over. There's nobody getting back on this train. It's crashing and burning. I think it's time we accept, and pardon my French, Bryson DeChambeau is a douchebag. It's time to accept that, and you've made yourself the villain now. This is on you. This is on you. You can't, okay. So you're telling me you can't handle one of the most docile and non-curse ridden heckles I have ever heard in my life. And you are literally kicking people out of a tournament because they said somebody else's name to you? This is a joke. People, you wonder why people are like, oh, golfers aren't athletes. Well, first and foremost, if you've golfed, you know exactly how good these athletes are. That's besides the point. You want to know why people are like, oh, our golfers really, it's because of this kind of stuff. You think Bryce Harper, who has to trot out into right field at other ballparks around the nation, if he heard this, he might compliment the fan for being nice. You can't handle one of the least vulgar heckles of all time. While there are other professional athletes, for example, Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets. The hit was dirty. If you want to get into how the hit went, you can. If you want to get into how the hit went, you can listen to last week's On the Power Play episode. But he's getting death threats from people who live in Montreal mailed to his house. He's not having them arrested. He's just going to serve his suspension and play hockey again. You can't golf because that's what he gets paid to do. Bryson, you are paid to golf. If these are the heckles that you can't handle, you shouldn't be a professional athlete.
I would literally pay any amount of money in the entire world to watch Bryson and Brooks be the final pairing at the US Open in 2 weeks, and for Brooks to just absolutely body him and just beat him by like 10 strokes. I would absolutely love that. I would pay any amount of money for that. And if all these comments and everything that's happening shows us anything, it shows us that Bryson's not living rent-free in Brooks's head.
No.
Brooks is living
absolutely
Bryson's
not
paying Brooks to live in his head. He's not even living rent-free. Brooks is getting paid to live in Bryson's head at this point. And yes. I love it.
The renter is paying the rentee. No.
It's amazing.
The rentee is paying the renter to live there, which is hysterical. I have this vision in my head that if it happens to come true, first come back to this part of the episode and send it to everybody you know, because if I predict this, that'd be great. At the US Open, right, they're the final pairing. They are neck and neck, literally the same score. And they're both taking their approach shots from probably the same distance. They both mash the ball, let's be honest. And Brooks puts this real nice, crispy clean on the fat of the green, just looking for that score. And Bryson ends up chunking it into water on the approach. And Brooks kind of is walking past him, gives him a pat on the back.
Attaboy, Brooksy.
and then fisticuffs. Just two absolute mammoth humans just hacking away at each other on the 18th fairway at the US Open. Just
nothing
haymakers.
Nothing would be better for literally any media outlet than if that happened and Brooks went up and patted him on the shoulder and said, "Attaboy, Brooksy."
Attaboy, Brooksy.
I would die on the spot.
If that happens, mark my words, Brooks Koepka will forever be my favorite golfer.
I'm there for that. I'm so there for
he's making, so I know that I've said I don't very much like Brooks Koepka because I think he's kind of arrogant and it is what it is. However, in this whole situation, it's so funny. He is so funny. He's like Barstool. He doesn't miss. He never misses.
This exact conversation is why if the PGA Tour steps in and tries to do something about this, they're going to get more death threats than what's his name on the Jets.
Mark Scheifele. Yeah.
Mark Scheifele.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't watch a lot of hockey.
That's fine.
They're going to get more death threats than that because this is the greatest thing to happen to golf since Tiger Woods came back. This rivalry right now is the greatest thing to happen to golf since Tiger Woods came back 2 years ago. And what you just said is exactly it. If this continues and Brooks actually does that, he's going to make a run to be one of your favorite golfers just because of this whole situation.
Just because it's so funny.
Golf needs rivalries. Every sport has a rivalry. Football has pretty much any rivalry you can think of. Like we have
think of a division. Think of a division. Cowboys, there's a rivalry in there. Yeah.
We have all the rivalries you can think of. There's probably a rivalry in baseball I don't know about. Red Sox, Yankees. There we go.
I was going to say, you got this, buddy. I believe in you.
Hockey. Bruins and literally anybody, mostly the Flyers, like, and
That's not wrong. That
and the
hits. That
Islanders right now.
hits. Yeah, that hits.
But
That
like
hits.
there's rivalries in all these sports, and that's kind of what pushes these sports to a degree, especially when you have ones that are so close. Like when you have Boston and New York, like they're
Mm-hmm.
close enough that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get fans at either game, and it's going to make it interesting. Brooks and Bryson are going to be playing together a lot. They will most likely both be playing in the US Open in 2 weeks. There's a chance this rivalry will develop into something else in 2 weeks. And golf needs that desperately at this point. Um,
Desperately.
they did
And
grow a lot
yeah,
during everything that was going on with COVID. But if they
absolutely.
want to take that next step, they need to just let this run its course. They can't interfere with it whatsoever.
No. And to get into the thick of it, yeah, Bryson DeChambeau calls for the tour to handle this, telling the basically telling the tour um, it's something that he can't control and that he tried to take the high road numerous times. And from his perspective, he'll continue doing so, and people are going to do what they want to do. I don't think getting people kicked out of an event that they paid for, which, by the way, partially is your salary,
Yeah.
because they called you Brooksy. Look, Bryson, I don't know if you've ever been to a sporting event in a city like
He's clearly never been to a Philly sporting event.
he's clearly never been to an Eagles game. Because if you think that heckle is bad,
As a Cowboys fan at
you're
an Eagles
gonna
game.
exactly yes, you will be blushing for
That's
how
what we need.
embarrassed you are.
That's what we need to do. We need to give him a Cowboys jersey and send him off to an Eagles home game against the Cowboys. And then we'll see how he feels about the Brooksy heckles.
Look, I don't know if I want the poor guy to get stabbed. Okay, like it's let's just here's what we're gonna do: put him in a Cowboys jersey and just release him into West Philly.
Put him in a Cowboys jersey, rig the game so the Cowboys are up like 40,
Rig the game.
and we're just gonna release him into the wild.
See what happens. Like this is just such a soft thing for him to do.
Yeah.
Just such a childish take on this, Bryson. And you want to know what? This is awesome for golf.
Yeah, it's great.
This is awesome. Sports fans love to hate. And you want to know the beauty about golf right now is the point that we're at is there are a lot of guys our age who are currently outnumbering the older generation of golfers, especially when it comes to attending these events. That's why things like this are happening. If it was the golf from the early 2000s, you would hear nice, proper golf claps, nothing going on. Now we got drunk idiots screaming mashed potatoes after someone just hit a pitching wedge onto a 200 yard par three. That's what we have now. And sports fans love to hate. And this is going to breed that hate and bring it into golf. Now, obviously, we don't want hate in sports, but in a way,
we do.
It's what sports are. I love to hate the Bruins. I love to hate the Mets. I now love to hate Bryson DeChambeau.
It's called evolving in the sport. Every sport needs to do it. Baseball didn't used to be how it is now. Football didn't used to be how it is now. Offensive linemen used to be like 200 pounds. Now, if you're not 300 pounds, you can't play. Things
you're gonna get run over. Yeah,
for the better. Like it's so much better now. Like, and this is one of those things that is changing for the better, I think. Speaking of things that need to change for the better, people need to start paying more attention to women's golf for multiple reasons, including the fact that, did you know when they go into a playoff, which they did this weekend at the US Women's Open, they don't play it like the PGA does.
And how do they play it, Rick?
They play it as such. They play 2 holes and they take your aggregate score from both holes, and that's how you determine the winner. So, like, for example, this weekend, Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa, they went into a playoff. They played 18. If one of them shot a 3 and one of them shot a 4, whoever shot the 3 would have won. In the US Open for the women, how they did it, because it did go into a playoff, I believe it was 17 and 18 they played. I don't know exactly. Don't quote me on that. I'm just gonna say 17 and 18 because that makes the most sense.
Right.
But basically, what they did was they played 17 and 18, and they take your combined score from both of those. So say you shoot a 3 and a 4, and the other person shoots a 4 and a 4. Whoever shot the 3 and the 4 wins. And then obviously, if you're still tied through those two holes, then you play into another hole. But they don't do just one hole, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
That's so much better.
yeah, I mean, anytime you like, because the thing is, if you have a one hole playoff, things can go wrong, as they did in the PGA Tour this week.
Yes.
Colin and Patrick Cantlay both shanked their tee shot off to the right on 18, and that doesn't make for good golf. Like,
No.
now they both have to make a save. Like, we want to see
birdies. We want to see birds. You know,
we want to see birds. We want to see dominance. Like, if someone's gonna hit a shank off to the right, we want to see the next person just hit a piss missile right down the middle, hit a great second shot into the green, and just absolutely dominate them. That's what we want to see. We want to see domination out on the course.
exactly.
We obviously like to see the people fighting it out and everything, but we also want to see domination a little bit. And the Women's Open, the U.S. Women's Open, and the playoff that they did there, I think is great because you can lose a hole horribly, but then you can just come back and win the next one. And then it's like match play. You're almost playing match play, except for strokes are like obviously included in that a little bit. And I love that. The winner for the U.S. Women's Open, I don't know how to say her name.
That would be a Yuka Sasso.
Yuka Sasso. She's young, isn't she?
She is. So she is. 1 second. I just said 19 years old, born in 2001, and
crazy.
winning the U.S. Women's Open. Because that's fine. I'm fine.
Do you think she's a this, like, if you tell her to like pretend she's calling someone, do you think she's one of these people or one of these people? You ever see that?
God.
How, like,
yes, I've seen
you
that.
ask them to pretend they're holding their phone,
they'll do this instead of this because they don't remember what this is.
They don't know what this is. They never had this.
For those of you that are confused, hop over to the YouTube channel. This one's on there, and skip to
whatever
somewhere. Whatever I can't tell. So it's the phone thing. So you're either holding like a brick to your head, like the young kids are because they only have iPhones, or you're doing the thumb up, pinky out, like a normal human being.
Normal human being born in the year 2000.
Yes, Yuka Sasso is from the Philippines as well, which I really like. I really like the international flair from the LPGA Tour. Unfortunately, our girl, the youngest to ever do it, Chloe Kovaleski, was cut plus 20 through 2 rounds. I mean,
to be expected, but not
to be expected. She's 14 years old, and this course is long. Yeah. This course is very long and very hard. The rough was, I mean, it's not the Open for nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same way in the men's game as it is in the women's game. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's the US Open. You're going to have really, really hard conditions, and that's just going to happen. And so she ran into the really tall rough and stuff like that, and the course was in really difficult condition. And unfortunately, she didn't make the cut, but still a really awesome moment for her and her family, I'm sure. And that's it's a really cool record to hold for however long it stays standing. Because
for sure. I mean, this was a tough weekend for the women. I didn't get to watch a lot of it just because I was busy a lot of the weekend, and any chance I did get, I watched the PGA Tour so that we would be able to talk about it. Right. But I did get to see a few moments, including the end of it. I will say I did feel really bad for Lexi Thompson.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, you saw anything really about that, but basically she blew the lead. Basically was crying in her post-round interview.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. I mean, you always want to win, and when you have such a solid like that, honestly, what the situation she was in would have been like if Jon Rahm did play on Sunday and just blew it, and then Patrick Cantlay ended up winning. Like, you never want to have that bad of a day that you give up however many. I think she gave up like 5 strokes or something like that, and just didn't even win, which sucks.
It really stinks. And a testament to the conditions at the U.S. Women's Open, the winning score was 4 under. I mean, this is what the U.S. Open is supposed to be.
That's exactly what it's supposed to be.
And it played out. And unfortunately, Chloe Kovaleski, being 14 years old, not helpful when the conditions are that bad.
It's bombs,
she does hit nukes, so good for her. All right, shall we move into the two-man scramble?
Are we not going to talk about the Palmetto?
Oh shoot, right. There's golf coming up. Totally forgot. We spent so much time on the
I'm not super worried about it because the U.S. Open's in
yeah,
2 weeks, so
no,
we can just kind of
definitely.
touch on it. Anyway, the Palmetto Championship at Congaree in Ridgeland, South Carolina is happening this weekend, June 10th to the 13th.
What a great state, South Carolina.
Really not too many guys in it this week. My man Brooksy's back in it. Bryson is not playing, though, so we will not have any drama in that scenario this
Gotta
week
happen at some point.
because Brooks is not that dramatic. So I don't think any issues are going to
Dude,
arise.
Bryson, I'm telling you, Bryson's just running away from him.
He might be.
Bryson's scared to face him.
He might be. And I think that would be the greatest storyline to come out ever of all time.
Absolutely.
If we found out that Bryson was actively avoiding playing tournaments that Brooks
Do you really
was in.
think he's not? I mean, I honestly am here thinking that that's what's happening.
If he doesn't play in the U.S. Open, because Brooks is playing in the U.S. Open, if Bryson doesn't play and decides not to defend his championship from last year, then it's confirmed. So we'll have to see what happens in 2 weeks.
Brooks would play a major without arms. He could have some sort of freak accident.
He played the
where he
PGA without a
loses-
knee, so
Exactly. He could have some freak accident where he lost both of his arms or whatever, and he's still playing in that major. Guarantee it. Yeah, basically
Anyway,
all you need to know about the Palmetto is that Ian Poulter is number 1 in the power rankings, so that should tell you about the field.
the field's actually not horrible though.
It's not the worst, but still.
Field. Dustin Johnson's playing. Brooks
Tyrrell
Koepka's
Hatton.
playing. Yeah, Tyrrell Hatton's in. So there's some guys that are playing this week. Honestly, I see this as a week for one of the lower level guys that aren't going to be playing in the U.S. Open next week. I would love to see like a Pat Perez win. I would love to see who else do we have?
You know, there's a guy here I want to highlight because his name is one of the coolest names I
HV3.
have ever seen, HV3. And this is who I'm picking to win only because of their name. I've literally never seen this man golf in my life.
Okay.
His name is Seamus Power.
I love that.
He
was at the top of the leaderboard a few weeks ago.
I need to support this man. Yes, would have gained entry on merit, but finally and officially gets to use the top 10 exemption from his last start at the Nelson, where he was T9. Short Game Wizard has 3 top 25s and 6 starts on 2 tours. Seamus Power, mark the name down. The man's gonna win because he has one of the coolest names I've ever seen in my life.
I'm giving HV3 his first win.
I love that.
Sticking to it.
I love that.
I did pick Jon Rahm last week. I don't remember if I said on the podcast that he was my pick for the week, but I did put money on him at the beginning of the week to defend, which obviously you didn't. But I still got paid out because that's what all the sports books did, which I thought was really cool.
Right.
That they just paid out no matter what. But yeah, I got HV3 winning his first heading into next week at the U.S. Open. That's pretty much all I have on the Palmetto. I'm probably not going to watch too much of it, to be 100% completely honest with everybody.
Look, this podcast at this point is basically just hoping and praying there's as much Bryson and Brooks drama as humanly possible to carry us into not this week, but the next one, which is the U.S. Open. Obviously, that is going to be awesome.
Well, here's my thing. I obviously love to watch golf, and I will watch a little bit of it this weekend.
Of course.
But the next 4 weeks that we have coming up, we have the U.S. Open. We have the Travelers. I love the Travelers. I loved watching last year. Whenever they played that last one. Dustin Johnson won. TPC River Highlands, great course. Mm-hmm. Rocket Mortgage Classic, another great one. Always delivers. That's the word I'm looking for.
There's always a good field with the Rocket Mortgage.
Detroit Golf Club, another great course. Bryson also defending that one. And then the John Deere Classic, which is another tournament for the young up and coming guys to win, because a lot of the big names don't really play in that. So the next 4 weeks, and then we got the Barbazol and the Open after that, and then the 3M. We just have a ridiculous amount of golf, really good tournaments coming up, and the Palmetto's just kind of there as a placeholder.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Palmetto.
Honestly, the next tournament that I'm really not super excited for is the Wyndham, and that's August 12th. So,
and it's June 7th. by the way.
So like a lot of good golf coming up. I'm just really not like too in on Palmetto. But I'll
also the John Deere Classic. The tee box markers are slept on. They are some of the coolest tee box markers I've seen since the Waste Management.
They're pretty great.
Okay. A tractor as a tee marker. Our buddy Phil has a little collection of tee markers going for him. Any tee markers that have like let's not, we play some pretty rough looking public courses because we're just looking to golf. We don't really care about the condition, to be honest.
We like cheap golf.
We like cheap golf. And some of the tee markers are broken or have fallen off and are in the fairway somewhere for whatever reason. And Phil just picks them up, puts it in his bag. He's got a little tee marker collection going for him. Now, this would be a fantastic addition to that collection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
However, I'm not driving all the way out into Iowa to go steal one of these. No offense.
Yeah.
To Iowans everywhere. Yes, I know you guys have Field of Dreams. Congratulations. That's great. Just a whole lot of corn. That's boring. I don't know what to tell you. You know what isn't boring?
Sweet corn earlier.
I was actually very excited about sweet corn earlier. Now that I think about it, maybe I should go to Iowa. What am I doing here?
Maybe you should take a road trip.
In the beginning of the July 8th to 11th weekend, you're just gonna say, well, everybody, I'm in Iowa.
Don't really know what to do that out. I'm here. Maybe I'll eat some corn, and then
I think I'm gonna eat some
raw piece of corn off the stalk and try to eat it. That's some good video content.
They tell you at corn mazes to not eat the raw corn. So
they also tell you not to throw it, and I do that all the time though. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to pick one of those things up and be like,
I'm
not gonna throw this. That's a lot of control we don't have. Okay, don't have that kind of control. You know what isn't boring though, like Iowa. I hope we don't have any listeners in Iowa. You know what isn't boring like Iowa? That's the RBGA.
Oh, the RBGA.
Yeah, so our two-man scramble segment. There's the trophy. Look at that.
There's the trophy.
There's the trophy. Our two-man scramble segment, at least for this week, is going to be a recap of the first tour stop of the RBGA, being Hickory Valley Golf Club in, is that Limerick, technically?
I don't know what that's considered.
I don't know. I think it's in Limerick, Pennsylvania. But we did have that on Sunday. The start was weird. The start was a bit weird. So Rick was there on time, very punctual.
Short recap. I suck. That's the episode. See you guys later. No, I'm just kidding.
Bye everybody.
I do suck, but we'll get into that. Yeah. So I was there on time, which is new actually. Usually I'm the one who's late. I was pretty jacked up for this. People are gonna see in the video that we post. We all did like a little check-in before the round, like while we were either at our house or like on the way, or I think Brian said he did his at a coffee shop or something.
I did.
Like,
see,
checking in, letting everyone know where we're at.
I was also jacked up. However, my idiot self didn't remember that we changed the course from where originally we had planned on going. So I was prepared to go to that course, thought I had time. I got to, what was our tee time? 9? Yeah. I was at Perky Joe's Cafe on Route 63 in Upper Salford Township at 8.
You were early.
I was early.
If we were playing at Mokobe, you were early.
I was early. I was sitting in my car. I was enjoying my bagel, having my nice coffee.
Unfortunately for Brian, we were not playing at Mokobe.
Not what we were
playing. So I'm hanging out at the course. Brian calls me. He's like, "Yo, where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in the clubhouse." So he says, "Oh, okay, I'll be right in." I'm waiting in the clubhouse. Brian's not showing up. I'm like, I don't know why he would park this far away. I'm gonna go check on him.
I don't know where did he park?
And he's not there. So I call him. I say, "Yo, where you at?" He goes, "I'm in the clubhouse." I said, "Dude, I was literally just in the clubhouse. You're not there." He goes, "What do you mean? I am in the clubhouse." I said, "Are you at Hickory Valley right now?" And he goes, "We're not playing at Mokobe." No, Brian, we are not playing at Mokobe. So this is at like 8:50. We got like 10 minutes until our tee time.
Yeah.
Phil is also not there at this point.
His car is borderline breaking down
because his car is having issues. So I'm standing there on the practice putting green with our boy Stan, who we played with. That you guys
Stan.
I'm standing there with Stan, and I'm like, sorry, my friends are running late, so we will not be starting on time. Fast forward about 10 minutes, the starter comes up to me before Brian and Phil get there, and he goes, what's the deal? And I said, they're on their way. I'm sorry. We'll be getting off in a minute. So Brian pulls up, sprints from his car to come get the golf cart, and the starter literally drove the golf cart to Brian because that's how frustrated he was that we weren't off the tee yet. So Brian went and grabbed his bags. Me and Stan went up to the tee box. Phil joined us about halfway up the first hole because he was even later yet, which I don't blame him for because his car is old and very used.
Yeah, poor LaFonda's about to kick the can.
So yeah, rough start. But that's pretty much how we roll in the RBGA. It's never going to be a smooth
Never
ride.
going to be easy.
Never going to be a smooth ride.
No.
What are your thoughts on the round?
So shockingly, I ended up starting with a par because I thought the first hole was a par 4, expecting that I bogeyed. It turned out to be a par 5, and I was incredibly ecstatic that would happen to me because my heart rate was still, it was pumping. Okay, that was the fastest I have run in many years.
You were booking for sure.
I was at top speed. I have never driven with golf shoes on. That was an interesting happened to me. But yeah, so as far as the round is concerned, I am pleased with my consistency. Lots and lots and lots of bogeys, and that's just kind of the way I go. Now, the beauty of the RBGA is we take the 18 Birdies app. No free advertisement, but hey, 18 Birdies, let's hop on something together, shall we? And we take our net score, and that's what we use. So that incorporates your handicap through 18 Birdies. Thank you to them. So yeah, I went par, double, par, bogey, double, 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 bogey, bogey for a 47 front. And then looks like double, double, bogey, double, par, bogey, bogey, double, bogey for an out 48 for a grand total score of 95, but a net score of 73. And Rick, if I can find the scorecard, would you like to go into yours?
Yeah, I mean, we can touch over it. So I did not have a great day. My comments in my pre-round video that I that I recorded came back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that.
I was jacked up before this round because
you are the defending champ too.
I am. I'm the defending champion. I was ready to defend, and I have been struggling. Most people that listen to this podcast, I'm assuming golf. If you've ever been through a rough patch, that's where I'm at right now. I'm accrediting that to multiple things, including new irons this year, as well as a swing change. Trying to incorporate my lower body a little bit more through a few tips that I got from our friends over at Scramble House of Golf. It's a struggle, to say the least. I'm not playing the golf that I want to be playing right now, but I'm doing my best to trust the process and hoping that things will find their way back to where they were towards the end of last year, shooting in the mid 90s and just feeling significantly better about where my golf game's at. I will say this weekend was a first for me because I have never had a round where I felt uncomfortable over every single club in my bag, including my putter. And this weekend was that for me. Like, I had no confidence shooting any of my clubs. And usually I have like my putter, my 6-iron, like my driver, when it's on, I'm pretty confident with that. And literally no clubs this week that I feel comfortable hitting. And it showed in my score. I shot a 102 gross, which is horrible. And I'm not happy about that at all. But I had a net 78. So not horrible, I guess, but in terms of my expectations for myself, really not good at all. I will say this: congratulations to Phil.
Yeah, seriously. What a day.
Yeah, on having the nice round of the week. Phil's net score was a 69. And seeing as how
Incredible.
Patrick Reed and Cameron Tregali are the only two that I saw that shot 69 this weekend, we're giving it to Phil.
Phil's way more exciting than those two.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Phil has a higher handicap than me, which I think is bull. I think he I think he needs to get that thing reevaluated because he does not play like a 23 handicap. I haven't seen him play like a 23 handicap at all this year.
He's having quite a season.
I don't really
so
know
far.
where that's coming from, but yeah, no, he had a great day. I was extremely frustrated by the end of the day, which people will see in the video, and that's just me being a horrible loser, which I will completely admit to right now. I hate losing, especially in situations like this. I just don't like losing, and I don't think that's a problem. Some people might have a problem with that, but you can get over it.
Yeah, I don't see. The good news is you don't have to worry about anybody else having a problem with it except for me and Phil, and we don't. So who are you trying to please, you know?
And the good
Be
news
you,
is
big
I still
guy.
have about 4 weeks
Exactly.
to come back from this. We
So
have no idea where we're
after,
going next, though.
yes, we do not have any clue. And I think that's kind of how we're going into this one. We're just like, as far as the locations, we're just flying with it and see
last
what
year we had
happens.
it all planned out. It was nice, but I think this year we're also a lot busier, so it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, and so first week recap, Phil is in the lead with that 69. Nice. After Hickory Valley, I am in second with a 73 net score, 4 strokes behind Phil, and Rick has a 78, 9 strokes behind Phil. So the good news is that it's week 1, and 9 strokes is absolutely nothing for you to come back from, because if we recall the finals from last year, Phil was down 12 strokes on the final day. We went to a playoff hole. So it is possible.
Also, me being a horrible golfer because I was the one that had a 12-stroke lead.
Well, here's the beauty. Now you have no stress.
Now I make that comeback.
You are the hunter. Phil is the hunted, and I'm there.
All I need is for Phil to contract COVID and him to have to withdraw.
To WD. Well, yeah, we already did that in March, so I don't know how well it's going to go for you. So that is our RBGA recap of week 1. And, you know, when we keep doing this throughout the summer, obviously we'll continue to recap you guys. Also, the video, stay tuned for that. I am working on that. There's a lot of videos I have to organize for each hole. We did, just to make things a bit easier for you guys, we filmed one of us per hole. So it is all 18 holes. It's just only one of us that we film per hole.
I have to say I was extremely nervous for that idea because I thought it was a really good idea, but at the same time I was really nervous that I was going to play really well not on video. And I was going to have like triples and doubles every hole that I was being filmed, and I was going to get like pars and bogeys on the other ones. But luckily for me, I played like crap all day, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't play too hot, but I'll take a 95.
That's a solid start. It's
I'm
not great,
never
but
going to
it's a solid
complain.
start.
I'm never going to complain with a 95.
You're in the mix.
Exactly. I'm there, and you know, Phil shot the same score, shot the 95. He just ended up having the better net score, and that's what we go off of in the RBGA, and that's because we're really bad golfers, and that's why we do things like that. Because it's fun to say that Phil shot a 69. It's fun to be able to say that we shot in the 70s. I'm having fun talking about this.
It's fun. We're having fun.
It's fun. We're having fun. Ah. Alrighty, this episode has.
Put the water there if I'm not supposed to shoot in it.
No, you're not supposed to hit into the water.
But you hit into the water.
Yes, I know. I hit into the water. Alrighty, well, this episode has run long.
Very long.
We would apologize, but you're still here. That's all I got to say. If you made it to this point of the episode, you know what I'm talking about.
Go get yourself a cookie.
Go get yourself a cookie. What were the other days? There's beef jerky in there somewhere.
Oh, there's jerky, yeah.
Hug your best friend.
Yeah, best friend day.
Do all those rolls. Things.
Get some
egg roll. Get an egg roll. And have yourself an absolute week. We will be back next week as we are back on a regular schedule because there's no upcoming Monday holidays. So we will catch you guys here on From the Tips next week.
Thanks, guys. See you later.